How's it going, beautiful people? It's my absolute pleasure to be speaking with you guys once again. Just want to introduce myself once more. I'm Josh, and this is Can Life Agency. The purpose of this video today is something that I see in the entire insurance space, not necessarily being looked at, not necessarily being spoken about, not necessarily being addressed. And the entire scope of Can Life Agency is to address the things that a lot of agencies, a lot of agents don't get addressed in their everyday insurance life. The insurance industry is widely known to be called the 92% fail rate industry, or otherwise called the 8% industry. It's considered the 8% industry because obviously 92% of the people that sign up to be an insurance agent, one, they don't complete their licensing stage, they don't do the test, they don't pass the test. Two, they don't buy enough leads and they don't get enough appointments booked to start bringing in cash flow. But either if it's one or two, 92% of the people in this industry eventually quit, right? And we've all been there. If you
Sorry.
all right.
No, you knew.
Now, many of the people that have come into the insurance space have quit, regardless of what it is. And if you've never had a thought of quitting selling insurance, you haven't been selling insurance long enough. Because whether it's the dialing, whether it's the driving to the appointments, getting a no-show, whether it's people slamming a door in your face, whether it's people being rude to you or whatever it is, most people eventually quit. And that's what we're here to actually address today. Now, the photo that was actually shown in the beginning of the presentation is how most of us look when selling life insurance, right? Whether it's mortgage protection, whether it's just regular whole life, or an IUL or universal life product, or a final expense product. This is how most of us look. Am I right? That's how most of us look because we were given this grandiose idea of what we believe being a life insurance salesman would have been. You know, whether it might be your upline or whoever it might have been, you've been watching people on YouTube or whatever you've been doing, and you've been seeing them make upwards of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, all the way up to 100K plus per month. And we've been sold this idea where we believe immediately once we get into the space, boom, kick in the door, that's going to be us. And so many people eventually quit because they start hitting the road and they start realizing that it's a little bit harder than I thought. Some of these leads, they're like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years old, and you pick up the phone to give them a call. Like, let's say you are dialing maybe like an aged mortgage protection lead, or maybe like an aged final expense lead, and objection after objection, objection after objection. And so eventually what happens to most agents is they eventually quit because this agent didn't have it within them to conquer the objections, not just of the client that's speaking to them, but the objections of themselves. You see, this is called the 92% fail rate or 8% industry because most agents don't believe in themselves. Most agents don't believe that they're worthy. Most agents don't believe that they have what it takes to actually be successful in this industry. And so whatever outside turmoil might be in their life, whatever outside forces, it eventually starts caving within them and they start believing about themselves because that's what they believe about themselves in the first place. They believe that they didn't deserve to make all that money. They believed that they needed another job. They believed all the things that the outside world told them, and eventually they caved in. They became part of the 92% fail rate. Because lo and behold, brethren, I tell you this truly, all my family out there in the insurance space, it's called the 8% success rate because to be successful in this business, you must conquer yourself as a person. You must conquer all the things that you've done in the past that have made you unsuccessful. Because if you don't, that's what awaits you. I'm telling you this because this is something that I went through myself. Because you're irresponsible, because we're irresponsible, because we don't know how to handle our money, handle our funds. We don't know how to put money aside because it's a business and the main expense in the business is leads, and you have to dictate money and set aside money. Every single premium that you make, every single deposit that gets deposited in your account, as a business owner, you put a set apart deposit for your leads. Most insurance agents aren't doing that. I know, I've been there. The rent is due, the car note is due, you gotta pay this bill, you gotta pay that bill. However, the most important bill that you have to pay as an insurance agent is the bill of sale of yourself. You must make sure that every single objection that you have about this industry and about yourself as a person, you're not bringing it and you're not allowing it to metastasize into something bigger than what you can handle. And so this is a PSA that I'm giving to all struggling insurance agents right now. Now is the time where you conquer yourself. Now is the time where you literally turn and change the pace of your entire family. Because I don't know about you, but I know about me. The reason why I even got into the insurance space was because I was working as a carpenter. I wasn't making as much money as I thought I would want to make, and I was struggling to pay bills, struggling to do whatever I wanted to do. I didn't have any financial freedom, any time freedom. I don't know about any of you guys, but I was a carpenter working 10, 12, 13, 14-hour days, back to back to back to back to back. And so I know what it means to work hard. Look at my hands. See these calluses? Those aren't from working out. At least most of them. And so I know what it means to actually work hard. And then we used to get paid weekly. And then you look like you gave the job that you worked 60 hours. And then for your 60 hours that you give in the job, you get an $800, $900, maybe if you're lucky, a $1,000 check. Does that make sense to you? You've given the most precious thing in your entire life, which is your time, second only to the love of God. You've given that for just $1,000 measly bucks. The time that you could be spending with your wife, time you could be spending with your kids, time you could be spending doing whatever it is that you want to do, you have to give it up for manual labor. Now, as we know, there's honor in all work if the work is honorable. And so the reason why I got into space because I wanted more time freedom, and I wanted more liquidity, and I wanted more funds. Let me be very honest. And so the insurance space provided all that for me, but it wasn't like that in the beginning. It's not going to be like that in the beginning because you're being broken to be molded into something better than you were in the past. See, as a business owner, you have to think like a business owner, right? You cannot think like a W-2 employee and think that you're going to be successful in this space because the next check is not guaranteed for you just showing up. I want you to understand that. You have to perform. You have to know about the products. You have to make sure that you're putting compassion over commission for every single client that you speak to, right? And when we start doing those things, life will start falling in the direction that we want to go into, right? And so when I tell you these things, I'm not just telling you to you, I'm telling them to myself as well, right? No one sits down to an insurance agent and lets them know that it's not going to be all beautiful flowers and roses and waterfalls and shining sunlight. No, a lot of days that you have are going to be gloomy. It's going to be raining. It's going to be cold. It's going to be bitter. It's not going to be fun. Pick up the phone. We all know it weighs like 1,000 pounds when you pick up the phone to go dial. It's not going to be fun, especially if you're dialing B leads, C leads, D leads, whatever leads that you're dialing, and even A leads sometimes, those ones that are highly touted. It's not going to be fun every single time because people are going to hang the phone up on you. People are going to be rude. People are going to say, oh, I think it's a scam or whatever. But what scam artist wants to actually show you their face? Whatever. That's besides the point. People are going to say whatever they want to say about the insurance industry. But we fully know that there is no insurance agent out there that picks up the phone and says, I wish this person that I'm dialing have a horrible day. I wish that they have the worst day in their entire life, and I want to call them to make their day much worse. I can guarantee you this. There is no insurance agent that thinks that. I know if you're like me, you got into this industry to be of service to others. You got into this industry. Well, I don't know about you, but I know about us over here at Can Life. You got into this industry to make sure that the people that you sit with every single day or talk to, whether you're doing telesales or doing virtually, whichever one that you do, or door knocking, whichever one, the people that you speak with every single day, that their life is being made better by them seeing you and interfacing with you. I know that for a fact. That's what most of us agents feel and actually think. And so I understand the emotions might be in it, and so you might feel that because you have all these good feelings and bubbly feelings about the person that you're about to speak with, they should reciprocate and have those same feelings for you too, right? I'm here to tell you, brother, no. Because whether it's a B, C, or D lead, they've already spoken to someone like you. And we don't know how good the other person was or whatever might happen in their situation, but someone might have left a bad taste in their mouth. And so when eventually they come to you, it might be you for your first time because you just bought that whatever lead that you just bought, and you might be their first time interfacing with that person. But for them, you're like the sixth person that has called their phone, right? And the reason I bring that up is because as a new agent, especially as a struggling agent, it's sometimes hard to take your emotions out of the game. We're all human at the end of the day, right? And we have emotions. But I'm telling you this truly. If you want to be a successful agent, you must remove your emotions from the game. Because put yourself in their shoes for a second. It might be fresh to you, but to them, they've already heard the pitch. If it's mortgage protection, they've heard your pitch. If it's final expense, they've heard the pitch, the script, the phone script or whatever to book the appointment with them. They've already heard it. And so you must take your emotions out of the game because sometimes they will be rude. They will hang up the phone. But it's okay. The quicker you get the no, the quicker you'll get to your yes. Because the numbers will work out. We all understand the numbers and the law of large numbers. If you have 1,000, 100 of them are going to be interested in what you talk about. And out of that 100, you can sell 50 of them. Out of those 50 that you sell, you make your profit times 10, right? How many of you are willing to go through that 100, willing to go through that 1,000 to get that 100, to make that 50, to then change the lives of your entire family? Guess what? 92% of the agents are not willing to do that, are not willing to go as hard as they need to go, are not willing to speak to the people that they need to speak to, and are not willing to go through the inside change to make themselves that top producer or that top recruiter in their agency. They're not. And so to be part of the 8% nation means that you've decided that whatever notion that the world has about you or about the insurance agency that you're a part of is a moot point to you because you've made yourself a top producer or top recruiter. You know what this industry has done for the Disneys of the world, the Rockefellers of the world, the Ray Krocs of the world, all these rich barons of financial fortitude of the past. You know what that is done for them, and you know what it's doing for you. You know how it's changed your life. You know how it's giving you time freedom. You know all that. And so I'm letting this PSA go out to all the struggling agents right now. Now it is time to change your entire future and change your entire life. But first, for that to happen, you must believe in it. There's nothing that happens in life without feeling and believing. You cannot manifest anything in the spiritual without believing it. You cannot manifest anything in the physical without first achieving it in the spiritual. Do you understand me? And so it's time to change from this to this. Because again, I don't know about you, but I know about me. The reason why I got in the insurance space in the first place was because I wanted more time freedom to spend time with the people that I loved. Period. And I wanted some more money. Now, this is the space, the perfect space for anyone to actually achieve that. It gives you time freedom and it gives you the amount of money. Let's look at it like this. I used to work 60 hours a week. Now, within 30 hours a week, I can quadruple what I used to make just by putting in the effort and make sure that every single hour that I spend, every single breath that I take, when I put on my insurance hat, is spent doing what I need to do. We think sometimes that we do what we need to do, but if we're not being accountable to ourselves and being accountable to the business, that's how we fail. Many of us aren't accountable to the business. Many of us aren't accountable to ourselves. Many of us aren't accountable to the people that we speak with every day, and they can sense that. You know, they can sense the commission breath on your mouth. And because they can sense the commission breath and not the compassion, that's how you're not making enough sales. And so if you put yourself in the homeowner's shoes, you realize you put yourself in your shoes. You're a homeowner. You're a father. You're a brother. You're a sister. You're a wife. You're a husband. You're a daughter. You're a child. You're a son. You are all these things just like they are. And we stop looking at it as just as a sales pitch being given to them and look at it as two beings of light making a connection with one another, that's how we start making those sales. No one likes to be sold. No one. People like to buy, but they don't like to be sold. And so we must understand that when we start getting back to the human connection that we have, that we all share within one another, and we start looking at people as how we look at ourselves, that's how our life will change. And so this is a PSA going out to all struggling agents right now. Now is the time that you make the change. It doesn't matter what IMO, FMO, whatever agency that you're a part of, if you're captive or not. Well, in some cases it might matter, but for the most part, what matters is you. What matters is the effort that you put into this business and make sure that people that you speak with, you actually mean good for them. Whether or not they know it or whether or not they appreciate it. As I said, take your emotions out of it. But just because you're taking your emotions out of it doesn't mean you're taking the compassion away from it either. Be compassionate to those who are rude towards you. Be loving to those who hate you. Okay. And I guarantee you, you will no longer be a struggling agent because you will no longer be a struggling human being. That being said, thank y'all for joining me for right now. Thank y'all for coming over to Can Life Agency. I hope this message or PSA has brought an increase to your life, to your level of knowledge, to your level of appreciation for this beautiful thing that we call life. And I ask that if this message was good to you, like, share it, spread it, whatever you want to do to it, comment. And I'll see you guys soon. Can Life.